All right,
Yeah.
so welcome to Niyati's English Express and Niyati this side. Today I have two wonderful, amazing speakers with me, and I'm pretty relaxed today because these two are masters of handling conversations. So today you're just going to see me in the background, and these two are going to have wonderful conversation. But since I'm going to host the conversation, I'll let you know today's topic, which is so there are two topics basically, but let's jump to the first one. The thing is that we see cricketers giving interviews in English. And if you think about it, I mean, a couple of interviews ago, they were not that fluent at English or even speak a single word in English. But after some time, they become pretty fluent compared to us when we are learning English. I mean, we compare our English learning journey to them, they are much faster. So do you guys have any opinions like what could have been the measures that they took which sped up the process? So Gayatri, would you like to go first?
Yeah, hello everyone. Yeah, thank you, Niyati, for giving me this chance. And I think it's not about cricketers, to be honest. I remember watching interviews of Virat Kohli. I remember watching interviews of Anushka Sharma, like his wife, where I remember watching a reel where Ranveer Kapoor was making fun of Anushka Sharma, and then he said that this is not raining badly. This is like torrential weather, something like that. So this one, and I also remember watching Kangana Ranaut in her initial days. Like there are few interviews floating on internet where Karan Johar and few of the individuals made fun of Kangana. So it's not about anyone. It's let's just go in the cricket only. But I feel that what could be the way that they speak fast and they learn so fast is the like discipline. I think they are very disciplined when it comes to learn something. We can learn things from even the way they play on the ground, right? So I think discipline could be the way. And second, I feel that that intention of learning and the intention of being a little bit more flexible, that okay, that this is something which I have to work on, and this can definitely add charm in my personality. So having that clear cut intention, that is the sec. I will definitely talk in detail further, but I am just making points so that people understand what do I really want to say and how do I want to convey it, right? So discipline and then having intention plus having the perseverance, because we learn from their test series, their test matches, the matches they play. Virat Kohli is such a disciplined guy. Like I remember watching his interviews where he said that, oh, I can eat something for years. Taste doesn't matter to me. This doesn't matter to me. So when it comes to expect him, learning something, I think he would always give his best. Like he would just go and just make it until he makes it. Like recently, he has won the trophy after 18, 17 years. So discipline, that perseverance, and the I think these all things matter a lot. And I think they also hire personal secret tutors. So that's
Yeah,
how
they
they
do.
learn. But yeah, what about you? Yeah.
Yeah, what about you, Roshan? Do you think
Yeah,
there
I
are
think
yeah, go ahead.
the thing is that they are so clear in their head that what they have to speak. They have a
Hmm.
certain list of questions that they have to talk on. So their learning area is so small. Let's say they have to talk about the pitch, man of the match, how was the game, where did they lose the match. So they have a limited area to talk about. But in our case, most of us are confused. What do we have to talk, right? Some of us are students, some of us are working professionals. So like we know that there are different areas where we have to speak formally. Sometimes we can be informal, but for them, grammar doesn't matter, right? So as Gayatri mentioned, they also have like different mindset. They know that if they can speak English, their whole life will change. More commercialization. Again, they can get more advertisement. They can make more ads. I will give you some examples. Some cricketers are naturally good at English. Like Virat Kohli, if you watch his earlier interviews, he has always been really bold, not just with English, but Hindi too. So it also depends on their personality, what kind of personal person they are. If you see, some of them are more introvert, some of them are extrovert, like they can go and express themselves. I'll give example of Suman Gill. Like I recently watched one of his podcasts where he was talking about how they all are scared of winning man of the matches because now they will have to talk in English. So they think that better to lose the match, that we don't have to give an interview, or not to lose the match, not to win the man of the match. So yeah, they do have different mindset, and they have a different, like, it is crystal clear that this certain question would be asked, right? Unless they go to a podcast. So you don't, these days we are able to see many cricketers going on podcast and they speak so articulately. So there, as I mentioned earlier, different background, different mindset, and like what kind of personality they have.
Right. Okay. And one point I would like to add is what cricketers do is they believe in practical application. For example, even if it comes to the field, I mean, they don't just listen. I mean, this is how you have to do batting, this is how you have to ball, but they also actually apply those things, right? So I think they also
Yeah.
take English in similar way, that these are the
Hmm.
tips that they are given, and they are like, okay, now I'm just directly going to jump into spoken English rather than just listening and listening to the tips on how to do that. So what are your
Exactly.
opinions on
Uh,
that? Yeah.
One more thing I'd like to add here. They have, like, in a team, there are more than 15 players, right? Like their squad, their staff. Some of them are foreigners. So they are actually listening to foreigners speaking. So they
Hmm.
catch one word here, two words there. I'll, and recently, like you mentioned about David Warner, recently he made a statement. Do you know Mustafizur Rahman, or that bowler? Mustafizur Rahman, like a
Hmm.
Bangladeshi bowler. Left arm, fast bowler. So his English is really poor, right? He doesn't speak very fluently. So one day, like in the match, Warner was asking him to ball bouncer, okay, or maybe Yorker or something, but he misunderstood it and he balled something else. So, like, there is a lot of misunderstanding, but they try to, as you mentioned, practically they have to speak. So they get a lot of real life experience, like when they are on the ground or they're listening a lot of people and like from different areas. But they learn quickly, I guess.
Right, exactly. And Gayatri, would you like to add something to that? I think you were saying something that you mentioned the keywords and you said you would describe them in detail.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, practical implementation. I really love this point, Niyati. I mean, this is something which I keep talking all the time to my
Hmm.
learners as well. Like coming from a background where I mean, I don't come from English medium background and all. Like I am Hindi medium student, UP board, typical, having like Angrezi paper and all. Like even my teacher of English did not ever speak English in front of me. That's what it is, right? But like coming from this all background, I remember my journey. It was like full of ups and downs, and at times I used to feel, but I never practiced English consciously. Like if I say consciously, that like people who come to me with the intention that we want to learn English, I never went to anyone with this intention. I just explored, social media, and I explored few groups on social media, like where I went on Telegram or maybe at times on Discord, or maybe like you take the application name, I'll tell you that I have been there on that application to talk to people, right? So practical implementation is very important. I will not take the name of one application, and I remember downloading that application in 2021, like not 2020, yeah, 2021 initially, like the Jan Fab, and I made a call on that application, and I dropped the call within seconds because the another side person asked me what is your name, and I could not say that my name is Gayatri. So that difficult was it for me, but I just kept going. I never stopped there. I was like, it's okay, I would make it, right? And I would just speak anything, whatever, because I have always been chatty and I love talking no matter what. So practical implementation is very important. I mean, you just have food in your plate. Like this is how YouTube is, right? So if you say that people come on YouTube, they watch a lot of videos, they keep getting new tips and tricks. Okay, do these three things in next 21 days, you'll be fluent and something like that. It's like having the food but not having it in your mouth, like not
Hmm.
exactly practically putting it in your mouth and having it, and how will you just fill your stomach? So I think practical implementation is very important, that you learn something and you really speak like a baby. Like I run Saturday Sunday free sessions, and I keep pushing there that please speak. They join, they stay there for an hour, for 1.5 hours, and they leave. I mean,
Right.
I cannot do more than this to anyone. Like obviously I cannot speak on behalf of them. So I think this is very important. Yeah, I feel so.
Yeah, and I think one more thing, if we were to consider, is that we don't have a deadline over us, right? I mean, we will learn English when we learn it at our pace. But for
Yeah.
cricketers, I mean, they have to present themselves. Also, like Roshan mentioned, the post-match interviews. So they have to learn it because they have a pressure over them. The PR team probably pressurizes them to learn it faster. So I think they're probably given a limit, like we have a match, upcoming match over there. So before that, it'd be really great that you can at least speak basic English and answer some basic questions. But we don't have that limit over us, right? And also, the when it comes to IPL, because players are coming from all around the world, there are a lot of native speakers as well. So we need one common language to communicate, and because English is the most spoken language, so all the players have to communicate in that language. And if I were surrounded with native speakers, I'll be obviously forced to speak in English all the time. So also, I think the coaches, also even for India, I think the coaches from abroad. I don't know. Maybe Roshan has an idea. So for the coach,
Yeah, yeah, it depends. Our current coach is Indian, Gautam Gambhir, but yeah,
okay,
we have different coaches like from
right.
different world, different part of the world.
Yeah, so I think, I mean, if they have to communicate with each other, obviously, if the coach has to communicate with the players, they have to. So, you understand like what the thing is, it's the urgency to
Yes.
learn English, because we can be so sloppy. I mean, if I were given a new language to learn, I'll be like, okay, I'll learn it at my pace. I'll try to adjust to, like I'll try to adjust that language just schedule in my schedule rather than us changing our schedule for that language. So yeah, I think they basically are forced to do that within a timeline. On like Gayatri mentioned, they also have really good personal trainers for that. So so I think all these things combined fuel their speed for learning English language. So yeah, I think we can come to our next topic now, which is up to what extent should cricketers be idolized? Because we know that they have huge fan following. What they do is the right thing. That's the end of it. That's what people think. Especially if we speak of South Asia, they have a crazy fan following, all the cricketers. So, what are your opinions on that? I mean, is that okay up to the extent that people go to for these cricketers? Roshan, you can go first.
Yeah. You know what? I'll start the first. I'll start this answer with the thing. If you see cricketers of our country, they don't have any privacy in India. So if you know players like Virat Kohli or like big players, Rohit Sharma, what they do whenever they are done with the series, they move some other country. Why? Because they are also humans. They need privacy. They have to know that there is nobody coming after us to take a selfie. And our people, our like we Indian people are so emotional. We get too attached and we make our identity or we form our identity around this player. Virat Kohli fan, Rohit Sharma fan, and we will fight to each other like he's the best, she's the best. But the thing is that we forget they are humans, right? We have to take care of our lives. We have to become better person. But no, we will idealize them. The thing is that we can learn a lot from them. If you see Virat Kohli, how disciplined he is, like
Hmm.
his consistency with scoring runs, or I'm talking like a fanboy, but this is the reality. But if even if he came to Sivan, I would not go in that like crowd to take a photo with him. Will he ever remember me? Not a chance. But I know that the urge to get a selfie or to say hi, I'm your fan. I get that urge, but our country's people are really emotional. They need to be really educated on the thing called privacy. We have to give spaces to all these players. Like if you take example of any foreign players, when they come to India, they are treated like gods. And they
Yeah.
talk about it. They talk about it how they have to. They can't even go to a shopping mall without any bodyguards. So it is our people who needs to be educated that they are people. And guys, be a fan, but let them have their own life.
Right.
That's
And
what that's for sure.
yeah, I think by judging by Gayatri's expressions, she has something to say.
Yeah, I can't see her
No,
at all.
Okay.
no, that's all right. Yeah, because you have a smaller screen of phone, but like for me, I really like I have never idolized anyone in my life so far.
Hmm.
I have been inspired by people, I would rather say, but I would not say that they are my idols because I never see any human being as my idol. I think my mother would be the biggest idol for me. My cousin, there is my sister, one of my cousins. She would be the one who I would idolize and who I would say that she's my idol. I mean, she has like literally done a lot. I mean, she has not achieved much, I would say, but for me, I always look up to her. So as I have never been a fan of any actor or actresses. Like I love Priyanka Chopra in case, like I keep watching her. But if you ask me, do I idolize her? No, I don't, because. But one thing about cricketers, okay, so I remember that there were a few interviews of Virat Kohli where he like used some curse word on like the field, right at the field, and people literally just because I think he's from Delhi, if I'm not wrong, Delhi boy, right? Virat Kohli. And people, when the Delhi's people, when they abuse, right? Okay, when they use the curse word, they say, "Oh, bhai." Even Virat Kohli says that, "Arey bhai." if you are learning something from someone, at least learn something positive. Okay, don't learn that from him. And they literally just like flex it like anything. They say, oh, even he does that. Like, if he does that, at least see his net worth, right? What he does. Like, so if you are idolizing someone and if you are saying that जो वो करता है मैं भी वही करता हूँ, तो जो really वो कर रहा है, like even the person is doing, the person is making in crores, has the luxurious life and everything, so why don't you do the same thing, right? So I don't find it. And it's not about educating people, Roshan. I think people are educated in country, but they lack civic sense. So
Yeah.
in terms of privacy, I don't think so that they should be educated as person, but yeah, they should be educated on civic sense. But like recently, we have witnessed Istimpate there in Bangalore, right? Like that just because of RCB fan reached out there, and like the capacity of the stadium was 35,000 CR people. I think, sorry, lakh 1,000 people, 35,000. But like, how many people reached there? 3 lakh, 3.5, 3.6 lakh people reached there, and 12 people have lost their lives. I don't think so ki, your cricketers or your idols should be bigger than your life. You should not compromise on such things. So do not lack civic sense. That's what I feel about that.
No, with
And I never
education, I
idolize
didn't
anyone.
mean with education, I didn't mean that to send them to college to get a degree on how to treat people. I just wanted to say like education in just the term education, like they
Yeah, in
need to know,
general, yeah.
like they are humans, let them have their own life. Why to bother them all the
Hmm.
time?
Yeah,
Right. No,
that's
but
for
I
sure.
think, I mean, instead of bothering them, we should also focus on the fact that being a good cricketer does not always mean that he's also a good role model. I mean, you see
Yeah.
him on the
So,
field, but you don't know what he's actually like in person, how he actually treats other people around him. So you cannot judge based on that. But people, like Roshan mentioned, they just make it their whole personality. Like, absolutely following whatever that person does, blindly following it, even if it whether that's good for you or not. And like Gayatri mentioned, I think it's very good to not have an idol in a way that, I mean, it's good to have them, but don't just idolize them completely, because at the end of the day they are also human beings. Rather, we should pick out the good things of them, because when we idolize somebody, we forget that they have flaws. We can't see their flaws anymore, even if it's right in front of us. If I were to take my example, I don't know if you guys have heard of Selena Gomez. She's a US artist and she's very popular. Um, I used to, so she used to be in this show called Wizards of Waverly Place. It's a US TV series made for kids, and I remember watching it when I was 8 years old or 10 years old, and I've loved her ever since then. And the more I got to know her, the more I fell in love with her, and I thought she's my idol. I started speaking like her. I started giving same expressions like her. I completely went insane, and I was like, she's the best human being ever, because her PR team portrays her in a way that, like, she's the kindest human being, and she has this motherly instinct inside her that she is going to do good for you. I mean, whoever you are, she wishes you the best, and like, participating in NGOs and stuff like that. But then, I remember her documentary came out in 2021, where she filmed the past 8 years of her life. And in that documentary, you can see that she is such an insecure person. I'm not demeaning her. She's saying it herself that she's such an anxious person. So I still remember, like, one of her best looks ever, like one of her best concerts ever, when I thought she looked so beautiful, like she's the most beautiful woman on earth. That concert, that specific concert, the clip of that concert, we have a, like, she shared the backstage clip where she's crying and she said that she looks so ugly, she doesn't want to do this anymore. And that's when my perspective changed towards idols. Like, these things happen, oh my god, I didn't even know that. So now I don't have an idol in particular, like any specific idol that I blindly follow. Now I just pick out the positives of various peoples and try to implement them in my life.
yeah.
um
I mean, it's good to learn from them.
yeah.
But the thing is that you should not completely blindly or just do whatever they are doing. I think that recently, or you guys, I don't know whether you guys are aware, like what happened in our country. Almost every girl was crazy about BTS, right? But they didn't know the reality, what goes behind the scenes, like how they are treated. Do you
Okay.
guys know the whole
No,
story?
I'm a BTS fan. I'm a huge BTS fan. I still am. I am like since 2020, and my frontal lobe developed. So it's not that I am still a teenager and that I don't know what's right
Yeah.
and wrong. But I
Hmm.
don't know what you're trying to get at, like how they were treated. What do you mean?
No. That the whole band. I mean, the thing you mentioned about the idols, like how they are portrayed, they are playing a persona. They are not how they look on the screen or on social media. So I think it is really important to know where you are from, right? I'm not saying stop dreaming, but at the same time, think where are they from, where we guys are from, right? We have to understand our circumstances too. It's good to have an idol, but never to run after them blindly.
Yeah, no, actually, you're right because there are a lot of 12-year-old girls, 13-year-old girls in our country that are blindly following BTS. And I still remember one of the incidents recently happened, I think 2 months ago or so, that because the idols, the Korean industry is so strict. I mean, from their diet to the way they act in front of public, we don't know how they actually are behind the
Yeah.
cameras. And so I remember like BTS's member Junkok, he's the most popular member out of all of them. And so he openly supported a group because that group was
Yes.
under scrutiny. And so these 12-year-olds, they started, running this campaign to like go against anyone who says these things because they thought that Jungkook could never do that. He could never,
Mm.
side with a particular girl group. And so they said that,
Yeah.
his ID must be hacked. He cannot do that. So I was surprised that people don't even know that idols have their own opinions and they are human beings. So,
Yeah.
like,
Yeah. That's
that's,
the thing.
yeah, that's what it has come to. But you are absolutely right. I mean, um, it's just that it's good to pick out the good things. For example, when it comes to BTS, they are really good singers and also they are really good dancers. So they are doing these dances and singing at the same time. So that's what inspires me in my life. I'm not doing singing, I'm not doing dancing. However, if I'm doing anything in my career, I pick out those things like in their hard days, they kept going and they saw
Yeah.
the results. So why can't I? I mean, I can do the same thing. So I think that's the best way to, idolize somebody rather than just blindly following the way they speak or whatever they eat or the way they act.
True. Exactly.
I think I
Yeah.
don't know anything about BTS. Okay,
Okay.
I have never been fan of South Korean industry or Korean industry. Like, I feel lucky. See, I don't have any hate for the people who love it, and but for me, it's like my personal things. I have never liked anything out of country. Neither I have liked people from in the country, Bollywood or anything like that. People are huge cult fan of specific actor or actresses. So I don't know why it has happened to me, but then people following some specific bands or some any individual, and then expecting them to behave in some certain ways. Like,
Right.
if you get in the South Korean industry, you will understand that they do not serve what the actor or actresses are, they serve what the audience wants. Everyone is doing it, that's for sure, but they do not let the opinions of those individuals out, and they have very different and very restrictive lives. They cannot. I remember, like, when so that was an article I came across where a South Korean actress, she just expressed her love for a person, and she was literally threatened to get banned from the industry. So I was just like, gosh, I was like, oh, these people do not have their lives at all. And I think I'm really good at it. Like, we are lucky here when we are here. So that's how I see people. I never idolize them, and even if I do, I'm very flexible with their opinions. Like, recently a controversy happened, like, on YouTube. So I don't know you know about that or not, but there was a controversy, like Samir Raina and Ranveer Labadia, and this controversy happened. Now that there is a guy who had portrayed his image in some certain ways, like Ranveer Labadia, because I am the one who has been following him since like the time I started my learning journey. So I remember watching his 7 years old podcast, like 7 years ago only, Priyanka Chopra, the second interview of Priyanka Chopra, and it is there on YouTube, and it's been 7 years. I have been following that guy. So he had portrayed an image of being a very decent, spiritual, kind, and that guy. And recently, what did he do on some other show? Like, it exactly brought the kind of side he has. However, I do not judge him on that specific side, and I do not think that he's evil. I don't judge him. I feel that he has all the emotions to experience, and he has all the rights to express whatever or howsoever he feels in different cases. I do not support that joke, but I feel that we don't have to like restrict people, and we do not have to make our very rigid opinion and kind of ways that, oh, if I am a fan of someone, that the person should behave the way I want him to. So that is like
Yeah.
you are making people robots, right? You're not accepting their flaws, you're not accepting them as whole, you are not learning everything. You are learning what you want. You want what you want. Like, okay, I want this person to behave in some certain ways, I want this person to speak this, I want this person to do this and to behave with his wife and whatnot. Cause I think people are crazy, like, so that's how I see people, and I'm very flexible with my thoughts and opinions. Yeah.
Right, exactly. Roshan, do you have anything to add?
Yeah, I think I like a lot of people. When I was young, I thought that these people are really cool. But even the thing you mentioned, we don't know what happens behind the scenes, right? Let's say if I'm a fan of Shahrukh Khan, I'm only seeing the character he's portraying on the screen. I don't know the real Shahrukh Khan. Like whatever he's doing behind the scenes, I have no freaking idea. What do we see? We assume that's true, that's real, and like young minds are very easily influenceable. So that's the thing. And now social media. Social media is the biggest influence. Whatever we are seeing, we accept it is true.
Yeah, exactly. And like Gayatri mentioned, the Samay Raina thing, we literally see him for like 1 hour. I don't know how frequently he posts, maybe once a week. So literally that
Yeah.
podcast, and we feel like we know the person because why? We know his favorite drink and we know what food he eats, so we know him. Like we don't actually know the real personality. And when they kind of share their real glimpse, this which we probably maybe don't like, then people go
Yeah.
insane, like how could this person do that? I didn't so we create this imaginary person in our mind, which he probably, I mean, more than 50% chances are there that that's not the real case, right? I mean,
Yeah.
so yeah, I mean, that's why it's very, very essential that people kind of differentiate between what an online personality is versus what the offline personality is. Because even, I mean, people should consider even in their own lives. I mean, when we are attending a marriage, we are getting ready, we are getting all glammed up, and we are behaving in a certain way that we probably don't behave at home. For example, like I'm sitting in my PJs and it's my leisure time, but I don't behave that way in that way when I'm the instant I step out of my house, right? So this is
Yeah.
just such a small example, and they are such huge personalities. So people really do need to differentiate between a human being with flaws, and the perfect image that they have created, right?
Exactly.
Yeah. So I
That's,
think,
like, I'll give you very small examples here. Okay, so I
okay.
do not have any hate for the couple like Anushka Sharma and Virat Kohli, and I really love Anushka Sharma because I love her. Really, she coming from different background and making her own ways, and then she is the lady of her words. One thing which I really loved about her, in one interview, she said that after getting married, I do not want to work in the industry, and she has never been since then. Like in the industry, she is not doing anything except these advertisement and all. Anyway, now these couple are like, this couple is such a beautiful couple. They have their own ways to deal as a couple, they have their own way to express their love publicly or personally and whatsoever. But then when I read the comment sections of those small clips, I feel that the girls are going to really destroy their lives because they have really really high expectations. They have idolized Virat Kohli as a partner, but they have to understand the reality of lives, right? Maybe their partners would not be having this much time to express this love, right? Maybe their partners would not be, everyone has to altogether different responsibilities, right? So what happens, like these days we have very high expectations from our partner, and we expect them to behave in some certain ways, and the way they turn against our expectations, we feel, अरे भाई मैंने तो ये नहीं सोचा था तुम ऐसे हो गए. Like what? You have to accept a person as a whole, right? If he is angry, he is angry. If she is bad, she is bad. Like you must have understand a person before expressing your lovey-dovey thing and kind of. So this is just an example, but I think this is the most important. This is the most important reason of people having clashes these days. They idolize their partners initially, and when they have different colors or different sides or different shades of their partners, it's very hard for them to accept it. because that initially things are very cozy, and then later things get bit bitter, or maybe the time passes, the responsibilities come, things come, seriousness comes of the life, and then that's how the people are not able to digest that change, and they are not adapted, so they are not able to adapt it. So I feel that this is how I also consider things. And there is no way to idolize the couples on of Bollywood couples, because they have a lot of time, and they have purchased that time of the money, like the money they have made, the wealth they have, and now they have plenty of time to be on trips, to express their loves, to do everything, right? But
Yeah.
if you want to do that, make it, and then idolize them. So yeah, that's what I
Yep.
think.
Yeah, exactly. So, in conclusion, what we can conclude from this session is the first thing that we learned what cricketers are doing different compared to us. And the second thing we concluded is how, up to what extent should we idolize all these personalities, including cricketers, and to accept the fact that they are also human beings with human being flaws. So, yeah, I think we had a wonderful conversation. We touched upon such a crucial topic that people do need to understand. And I had wonderful time with both of you. So, yeah, I mean, I hope to do more sessions like this because I really enjoyed this one, because this was the first session that I had with, like, a three-way communication where I was having. So yeah, I genuinely enjoyed, and I hope you both enjoyed as well. And
Same here. Same
I
here. Had a
did.
great time. Had a great
yes.
time here.
All right, so
And
we can
yeah,
wrap up the
thank you.
session, and you guys have a great day ahead.
You
Thank
too.
you so much.